2025 isn't over yet, but there's already a list of WWE wrestlers who have passed away. From some who had a brief stint in the biggest company in the world to, for many, the greatest superstar of all time. Well, for now I'll stop talking, and today I'll present to you 5 WWE wrestlers who passed away in 2025. Number 5. Sabu. To start off this video, we have the incredible Sabu, for many one of the most extreme wrestlers in the entire history of Extreme Championship Wrestling in WWE. But did you know that even though Sabu passed away this year, 2025, he escaped death many times? And not just in the ring? Sabu, at 19 years old, was shot in the face after attending a night party. However, his death would come on May 11, 2025 after suffering a heart attack while he was sleeping. Though some sources said he died at 60, his death certificate lists his age as 61. The wrestler had his retirement match on April 18 of the same year. The wrestler Joey Janela said that Sabu should never have wrestled, and that in fact, the company where he had his last match sent him doses of a medication to briefly relieve the pain he was feeling. All of this was done to ensure his participation in the event. However, the company Game Changer Wrestling denies that Sabu's participation in that event was the cause of his death. They acknowledge Sabu wasn't well enough to participate in the match. They say that the wrestler would end up passing away 2 weeks after the event, so Game Changer Wrestling is not to blame. Former friends and colleagues from the wrestling world managed to raise funds for his family, which almost reached $60,000. Chris Jericho alone donated $5,000 to his friend's family. Number 4. Steve Mongo McMichael. WWE is saddened to learn that Steve Mongo McMichael has passed away, said the official WWE page, announcing the death of a legend. Although he had a brief stint in WWE, he spent more time in World Championship Wrestling. If we're discussing WWE, note that McMichael joined after ending his National Football League career. McMichael appeared at ringside during WrestleMania 11 on April 2nd, 1995 in Hartford, Connecticut. McMichael competed against Van Bigelow, and several football players were present at ringside to prevent interference from other wrestlers. Later, he would continue making occasional appearances on different company shows, including some episodes of Monday Night Raw. McMichael later found success in World Championship Wrestling in 1995, initially appearing as a commentator on the Nitro show. He would argue with Bobby Heenan during matches and brought his dog, Pepe, to the broadcast booth. In April 1996, Ric Flair began flirting with his wife, Deborah, who sat in the front row during the shows. Mongo objected and challenged Flair and Anderson to a match with his partner, Kevin Green. After having notable matches in World Championship Wrestling, he eventually ended up separating from his wife, Deborah, in real life. And years later, on a podcast, he accused Stone Cold of having stolen her. On April 23, 2021, McMichael announced that he had been diagnosed with amyotrophic lateral sclerosis. But life is strange. He announced he had amyotrophic lateral sclerosis on April 23, 2021, and on April 23, 2025, he would pass away from amyotrophic lateral sclerosis complications. At the age of 67, Ric Flair referred to McMichael as a good friend, despite everything. Number 3. Hulk Hogan. Hulk Hogan is recognized as the biggest wrestling star of all time, and he helped WWE become the giant it is today. In the 1980s and 1990s, Hogan's personality, both inside and outside the ring, made him a household name in the United States and a mainstream star, starring in movies and achieving worldwide recognition. WWE is saddened to report that Hulk Hogan, a member of the WWE Hall of Fame, has passed away. One of the most recognized figures in pop culture. Hogan helped WWE achieve global recognition in the 1980s, WWE said in a post on X. Clearweather, Florida, officials said police and firefighters responded to Hogan's home after reports of his cardiac arrest. Hogan was treated by firefighters and rescuers and later taken to Morton Plant Hospital, where he was declared dead. The website TMZ was the first to report the news. The WWE Hall of Famer was involved in major controversies throughout his life, just to mention one. In 2015, a video emerged showing him using insults and speaking negatively about people of another skin color, a moment that tarnished his legacy among many wrestling fans and colleagues. At that time, WWE terminated his contract and removed many mentions of him from their website. Hogan passed away on July 24, 2025 at the age of 71. Though he had secretly battled cancer, his cause of death was cardiorespiratory arrest, although his children have requested that the investigation into their father's death continue. Number 2. Rick Harris. January 22, 1990. Rick Harris made his debut for WWE when he defeated Lee Pick in a dark match at a World Wrestling Federation Superstar taping in Miami, Florida. 4 weeks later, Harris made his first television appearance when he was defeated by Tito Santana on Primetime Wrestling. For the rest of the year, he mainly worked as an up-and-coming talent. He appeared in more than 100 matches and was regularly featured on television. Rick Harris was the opponent of several wrestlers who debuted in WWE. One of his most notable opponents was Goldust. In January 1991, he had his last match in WWE and then returned to World Championship Wrestling. Harris was diagnosed with stage 4 colon cancer in 2022 on December 24, 2024. Dutch Mantle reported on his podcast Storytime that Harris had stopped chemotherapy treatment and had returned home from the hospital because his health insurance had run out. Rick Harris would leave this world on January 9, 2025 at the age of 76. Number 1. Knuckles Madsen. Whether someone was in WWE once or 100 times, they were still there, and that achievement can't be taken away from them. That's what happened with Knuckles Madsen, who debuted on television in NXT on May 29, 2013. He competed in a battle royal for the number 1 contender spot for the NXT Championship, but he didn't get it. His next appearance was on June 5, 2013, where he faced Mojo Rawley, but he was defeated. After that, we never saw him again. However, in 2025, we learned about his tragic and shocking death. It turns out that police officers were called to a house in the Rogers community near the borders of Oklahoma and Missouri, shortly before midnight after receiving reports of a shooting. It turns out that in this whole incident, there was only one person with a gunshot wound, and that was Knuckles Madsen. First responders brought him to a nearby hospital where he died from his injuries. A spokesperson from Benton County revealed that the former wrestler was shot in the abdomen. However, no one knows if he was actually involved in the problem or if he just had the bad luck of being injured unintentionally. The case is still under investigation.